Let's go, guys. So, today we'll have some nice spinning around. We will do the great London flat, and then maybe after nice. So some easy spinning today, nothing crazy, no high power. We need those 3 race days to get out of the legs for Saturday. Saturday we'll be having 140k ride again. But I don't want to be doing like nothing as well. So today is going to be a recovery ride, and tomorrow, depending on how we feel like, we'll have another like short and easy ride. There we go. There we go. That's better. So it's important that we stay under 200 watts a day. That's the challenge. Perfect would be like 130, 140 watts. A little bit under that, no problem. But let's not try to get over that, because then we'll be fatiguing the muscles again, and that's not a good recovery, right? So it's a little bit more boring. Let's come to riding, because we want to do those races, right? We want to be racing as much as we can, but we have to be smart. And today and tomorrow, no races. I think we have 15 kilometers on the TT bike left. So if we get the pop-up that we finish the mission, we will change the bike. I'm not sure if we get this pop-up in-game though. If not, we'll finish this course on the TT bike and we're done with it. I will be glad to be completing this one though. Don't really like the TT bike that much. Not a fan at all. Spread the love and give some ride-ons to everybody out there who's working their ass off to become better, become stronger, or just having fun. Doesn't always have to be full throttle, right? Can be just slow sometimes. We'll have 23.6k on this course. We've almost finished it last time around. I think we came short like 4k before the race start. No race today, so we will complete this one and get it out of the way. Funny thing, while racing yesterday, doing the jungle loop, it was actually not just a jungle loop, but the entire Road to Ruins lap. So we basically did a race by accident, which we don't have the badge yet for. So we got that one for free in that event. And we won the event, guys. We won the event. We had a great race. We stick with the front group except for those two guys who flew away from the start and never got back. So I'm gonna not mention them, act like they're not there because they were doing way too much wattage. So we were in the front group, I think around 10-15 of us, something like that. Strong start, nothing too heavy, nothing too crazy. We hung on to that group pretty good and pretty easy until the jungle loop, well, just before the jungle loop, because there's the first climb. Before you get into the jungle, there's this small climb, like 1 minute, 2 minute climb, something like that. If you count the bridge, maybe like 4 minutes. So we went a little bit heavier there, pushed on, but we noticed straight away that we were sitting pretty good, pretty strong, because our climbing was near the front of the group, and so I was with the best climbers in this group at that point, so that gave a lot of confidence. Was able to stick with that group for the entire climb. Also helps to know where it ends though, because yeah, after the bridge it got a little bit harder, but we kept those wheels all the way through to the summit. Then you have this 1 minute downhill to recuperate, and then we went into the jungle. So the question was, would we change to the mountain bike? Because some people said on Facebook that it was quicker if you used the quick way with the handbrake, change to the mountain bike, and then try to go fast on the mountain bike. But then again, if you're in the front group and nobody is doing it, I don't think it's the wisest decision you can make, because in the best case, you catch them and you can make like a little gap going for yourself. But in the end, there's still like 10k to come after the jungle, and you will be there alone in the front, in the best case, because you have to stop, you have to change bike, you get up to speed again, so you lose at least 30 seconds on the group. You have to fight for those 30 seconds alone, probably. Sure, man. Ah, you're already here. I'm just behind you. 3 seconds behind you. Not sure if you need any big wattages, because I'm just spinning around today. Big ride on Saturday. Hey Physic, how are you, man? Good evening. Yeah, it's an easy day today. We're gonna finish this up nice and easy, and then see what we'll do after. Maybe we'll do something in Watopia, maybe another ride in London. We have a few choices left. Not sure. But the important thing is, I don't want to be pushing it any time today. I really want those legs to recover. We have 3 races last 3 days. And yeah, need to respect some some recovery time, even though I'm feeling pretty good. And I think I will be able to do a race if I wanted to, like power-wise, and mentally we're pretty strong as well, because we did great the last two ones, right? The Quid City race felt really good, really strong in that front group, and yesterday as well. Yeah, it's always nice if you finish the race and you know your average wattage is like 20 to 30 watts under your actual FTP or your normal wattages average. That means you picked the right balance, right? You had a good start, you hid it really well in that front group. The front group wasn't going too crazy, but we were going heavy pace because the faster groups were not too much faster in the end as us. We climbed strong yesterday. I think it was like an 8-minute climb, and we kept pushing it. We kept with the block. It wasn't much of us, but I think at that point we were still like eight or 9 riders. And then at the bridge we let them slip away just a tiny bit. And we yeah, true. That's so true. So on the bridge yesterday in the jungle, there was a little bit of a gap to the front group, and I was alone. But yeah, like I said, I was feeling pretty confident. Like if I kept in that wheel on the descent, I could recover enough to stick with them. So we did 2 quick sprints. I think 600 watts for like 10 seconds, maybe 15. I think 2 times 10 seconds, something like that. 10 seconds, 600 watts. 2-3 seconds rest, and then another 10 seconds. And we just barely managed to catch them. Yeah. The dirt is so slow, man. But that's what makes it even more important to get that wheel right. It's slow, and if you don't have that draft advantage, then it's better to switch to the mountain bike. But if you're already over the half of the jungle, it's not convenient anymore to do it. So yeah, I'm really lucky those 2 sprints got us back in the group. We held strong through the rest of the jungle, and then once we saw the tarmac, we knew we were good, right? We stuck in the wheel until the little summit before the bridge part, and then after that it was one long recovery period. I think it's like 2-3 full minutes where you can go downhill. A few times you can even go in tuck mode and just recuperate as much as you can. So once you start to get pedaling again, you feel like it just started, like it just new. And that's what happened to us yesterday. So we had a great effort in the jungle, but we were able to recuperate fully for the end. And that's why we had a pretty long sprint in our legs. It wasn't the highest as for watts, but it was pretty long. And that was made me glad about it. 28mm tires. Oh, so you have half an hour. Nice, man. Are you racing with Zico again? I've seen a couple of your guys' races. That pace is pretty strong, man. I wouldn't be able to follow that. But you did the everything bagel, that's with all the climbing. You climbed the KOM twice, right? Once in every direction. Good luck on that. remember everything bigger because we did the batch like 2 weeks ago. It's not my track, that's why we decided the length was almost the same, right? So I don't think we had much time difference in choices. But I'm pretty glad that we went with the jungle option because it was actually the entire lap of Road to Ruins and we still didn't have that badge. So that was a surprise for me, getting over the finish in that sprint. We got the badge for Road to Ruins, which is awesome. It's another badge in the pocket. There was one thing I was watching the list of what I can do as badge-wise. There's not much left, but the Innsbruck ring, is that an event only or is that a world? That's not a world, right? Innsbruck? Is that event only? If so, I have to start looking out for events to get that badge. Probably easiest on Zwift Power. Right. The 2018 UC World Course Short Lap in Innsbruck. Yeah, one badge only. But I was thinking if I don't remember if Innsbruck is a world or an event like Bologna is. Because it's been a while since I've seen Innsbruck. Okay, so not just solo ride them. That's the thing I wanted to know because then I have to look out on Zwift Power for that exact course to get that badge. It's not a long one. It's 23 kilometers. .6 and 460 altitude meters. No, that's true. So Innsbruck is a world then. I have to see, man. No clue. I always try when I connect to Zwift to see the extra worlds available, and then I try to pick a route in the extra worlds because Watopia is there always, right? So we can always do those ones in the end, no problem. But like even for like the PRL half and the PRL full, you have to like really schedule that in. Because if you put it like, oh yeah, let's do that Saturday, and then Saturday you connect to Zwift, and you forgot to look at the calendar, and London is not up, you're there for nothing, man. That's why I want all those extra worlds routes done as quickly as possible, and I leave some Watopia ones behind, but there aren't much left. Let's see, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 18 badges left for me, man. 18. It's more than I think it is. Knowing like 6 of them on a really long route, like 2-3 hours minimum. That means we only have 12 we can do just for fun like now, and still do a race or something after it, right? This one is 23.6. I guess we'll do it in about 40 minutes. No problem. No problem. getting ready for that TTT ride. Good luck on that one, man. Those seem so tough because you don't want to disappoint your team, so you go in the red so often. And you're like, if you're only 4 or 5, man, tough times. Never done a team time trial, but it looks like dying. And it's always pretty long as well, right? It's not like 14, 16 kilometers, 20 kilometers. It's always like 30, 40, 50 kilometers. Damn. Hey Cam, good evening, man. How's your evening? "52 minutes. 52 minutes of red zone." Alright, man. I see you after. I see it tonight. I had this evening ritual where you open Strava and just check out everyone's rides, what everybody has been up to. The Wahoo ticker, you happy with it? Yeah, this is full gray zone, guys. We have to recover. Saturday is a 140 kilometer ride, and around halfway in that ride we have the famous climb, the Muur of Gerardsbergen. So I want to be in good shape as possible to start that one. So we have to be smart and do a recovery ride today, even though we find that very boring. And I'm not really a fan of those. Sometimes you have to try and be a little bit smarter, right? Yeah, it's gonna be a pretty long one, and with the climb in, we're going with a bunch of friends, right? And the climb is definitely gonna be a race. You always know that with those friends, we're like doing interval races. Try and break each other, so you know at some points you're gonna go in the red zone. But that's why I want to be prepared. If it was just like with father-in-law being chiller, I wouldn't mind racing now. So today just some spinning, and then tomorrow we'll see, depending on how the day goes. We either have a rest day or we have another spin day. If you want to be on the bike, if you feel like it, we'll do some spinning, but nothing crazy. 2 off days, no problem. Saturday we have the big one. Then Sunday we have a recovery ride, and then Monday we are back in business for some races. We're back in business. We have the Zwift headquarters cone race again on the Shadow, but we're gonna try it in the B's next week. So we'll probably die there. The B class. But we have to try, right? We have to try it. If you get dropped, you get dropped. So I'm looking forward to that one. Then we have stage 4 coming up, which is a climb race. It started on Saturday, but obviously Saturday we are going outside. So Saturday we'll be skipping, Sunday we will probably skipping as well. And Monday we will do that. So Monday is pretty surely going to be the stage 4 race. And if I'm not mistaken, stage 4 is Muur in the Mountain. So that's 3-4 kilometers flat. Then we have the epic come, and then we have the jungle loop, I guess. Then going back, or we go straight back at the epic come. Not really sure, but there is a lot of climbing. It's either that or the Alp. And I think I'll go for the epic come if I can make the choice. So that's for Monday. Monday will be a race on the climb. Dear Lord, that's what's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. So yeah, after that, stage 5 is actually gonna be a really fun one. But that's for Wednesday or Thursday, and then we'll fit in that Zwift headquarters race as well, right? In 5 afternoon. It's stupid, it's only in one time of the day, so you really have to build your day around it to be able to make it. If it was starting like 3 times a day, it would be cooler. Five p.m. is not the ideal time for me with the little baby. That's feeding time and story time and sleeping time. So basically after we're done with that race, everything is done baby-wise. She's asleep already, so I couldn't contribute anything. But the last 2 ones have been really fun. They have been really fun. We felt really comfortable in that race. So I think it's a good thing to try it in the base and see where we are. We have to be realistic. It's not going to be fighting for the podium, of course, but I want to see how long we can stay with the front, and what points we actually are weak and at what points we are actually strong in that category. Because it's a different category, people race a little bit different as well. So we will see how that goes. Looking forward to that. So a lot of races next week, and we don't have anything to save for, so we can do a race every day if we want to, starting from Monday. Monday has to be the stage 4 because it starts on Saturday, but we are not able to do it, and I don't think I will be recuperated on Sunday to do it. Maybe if the ride went really well, we are, but I'm not counting on it. So we'll probably keep that in mind for Monday. But it's the last day to do so, so we have to do it on Monday if you want to complete the 2 for all. Which we want to do, right? It's a mission, we want to do it. I think we must be close into unlocking the ceramic speed, however mission it's called. Haven't seen the pop-up, so hoping to see that anytime now. You can actually change bikes, and we might be hitting 4 million drops as well. 5,000 more. That might be a thing today. You don't see them, but you get the advantage. I've read you get the advantage, so it makes your turn back even faster than it already is. It's only a tiny bit, right? 23 seconds over 100 kilometers. 100 kilometers. So in 3 hours of riding, you will save 23 seconds. Calculating that down to a normal race, which is, let's just say to be easy, 33 kilometers. That means you'll be saving 7 seconds by having it, by completing the mission. But yeah, I take the 7 seconds, man. That's 7 seconds we don't have to work for, right? Ooh. You want to try and make it yourself? Jesus. Today I've ordered a new cable set for the other bike, and next week I'm heading over to a friend who is more skilled than me, and we're gonna try and fix it together. The other bike, that is. Nice, man. Well, it's the one we talked about, right? So the gearing is fucked up. I broke my chain. That's what it started with. I broke my chain like 1 month ago. I put on a new chain, but every time I put power on the pedals, my chain skipped like 3 or 4 hooks. So I tried to make the chain shorter, because I bought an 11-speed chain for my 10-speed bike, stupid me. And that didn't work. It skipped less, but it still skipped a bit. And then we had some shifting problems, so I'm not getting it on its biggest wheel at this point. And I'm trying with YouTube videos and everything I can try at home. I tried. Oof. To be honest, I don't think it's that much of a difference wattage-wise. That's my personal opinion. There's no studies or whatever. I've not read any, but the first one, I think, because I ride without pedals to work, right? So without clip-ins. And I think the only advantages, like on climbs or on harder efforts, with pulling, I think you can either easier speed up the pedals if you want to, and you can give your quadriceps more rest and work a little bit harder on your hamstrings. That's my personal opinion. But I don't think my wattage will change a lot with pedals or without. On the other hand, without, if you go a little bit too hard and you like shift off your pedal, you will be falling on the ground and hurting yourself a lot, which isn't possible with clip-ins, or shouldn't be possible with clip-ins, right? So it's a little bit safer going all out, like giving a confidence boost that you're not going to slip off your pedal. And on the other hand, your legs get used to the same position as well. It can be an advantage, can be a disadvantage. Like if you're starting to hurt in some position, yeah, it's not easy to change. But then again, if you want to train, it's best to train in the best position possible, and a fixed position is one of the best possible, right? You always train in that certain position. I brought this bike to this professional company where they made a videotape. I had to put stickers on my body and stuff to see all my positioning, and they adjusted the way my pedals were as well, because I was going too flat with my feet. I had to go more nose down, and the guy adjusted the plates so I would more go down with my nose on of the feet and work more on my calves. First couple of days that was pretty hard, because you can feel those calves were working much harder than they were before. But we could have seen the difference a lot, man. Like, we were riding this bike over, I think, more than a year, maybe even 2 years, in the wrong position. We started even Zwifting in April in the wrong position, and I think I changed it. I'm not really sure, I have to look in the achievements list, but I think we changed it to 2 months after we started. In May last year, we did the fitting, and I think we jumped like 40 or 50 watts in like 1 or 2 weeks by readjusting myself on the same bike. So yeah, I'm really a promoter of a good fitting. If you want to let it do good, it costs a bit of money. I think I paid around 200 euros for it, so it's a lot of money. But it saved me a better position on the bike, and it gave me almost 50 watts, just like that. It was insane. Well, in my case, I was riding a really bad position, so if you are in a pretty good position already, it might be less of an advantage than I did, but still, it's good to know also mentally that you're in the most perfect position you can be for your body at that point on your bike. Yeah, it's expensive, man. It's expensive. There's a lot of knowledge, and then they use some equipment going into it. But in my case, it was so worth it. Gaining 50 watts. Let's just say 40 watts, like clear watts, 40 watts gainage, just by fitting my bike. And then after that, mentally as well, you know, on this bike, I'm in the best position I can be, because they looked at the length of my muscles in my legs, the length of my hamstrings, the amount of power I could set on certain positions. So yeah, for me this is the best position. It's not ideal for somebody else, of course, because I can't go really deep. Like if I go time trial mode like this, I'm having a harder time than most people, because I'm not really I don't have much stretch in the lower back. So that's why we put the wheel 20 degrees, the steering wheel 20 degrees up. So my, not sure what the name is in English, but the first bit, which is holding my steer, has a 20-degree angle upwards, just to get this position more comfortable. So if we're time trialing and you're in the front group and get some aero, it's possible now. Before that, it wasn't able to ride in that position. If I go in that position, I was out of breath in like 30 seconds and had to get back up. Now I can hold it for a little bit of a longer time. It's not yet comfortable as well. I don't know if it ever is in some cases. It doesn't feel comfortable, but it gives you such an advantage for the wind outside. If it's your time to take that front, or you want to try and hurt your friends, then that position is the best. Make it by yourself. I'm a big guy, right? They can hide behind my back so good. So I have to make myself as tiny as possible if I want to make it harder on them. So that was important for me. Also, 90% of the time I ride on the top end of my steering wheel. So I never use the bottom bit. But before the fitting, I wasn't comfortable in that position. So that's why I wouldn't do it. Now, it's the same case as the aero position. I wouldn't use it for a sprint, but for just pushing consistent higher wattages on the flats, especially against the wind, I will change to the lower bars. So yeah, bike fitting, I'm really pro for it. If you can afford it and you have the money for it, and you wanna get better, and you have a bike that you use a lot for outside rides, because or indoor rides as well, right? It's really a good thing to do. Like you can get these cheaper ones in local bike stores. Like if you buy a bike there, they sometimes give it for free with it, bike fitting. But what they do is they just measure the length from your fingers to your elbows, and they'll be like, oh yeah, you need this distance between your saddle and your steer. And okay, go stand next to the saddle, oh, you're this height, saddle up or down, and then okay, there you go. Professional bike fitting done. 5 minutes of work, and they're gone. Those are the free ones. But if you get these professional ones or the better ones, yeah, if you are planning on doing it, it's nice to get some research done of other people who recommend some stores where you can do it. They even measure the pressure points on your saddle. So they see how you sit on your saddle, and they can give you good recommendations to future saddles. Or there's a lot of people who come there with problems sitting on the saddle, right? Because they're doing a lot of long rides. So for them it's one of the most important parts. For me it wasn't that important. I can do it yourself, or I couldn't anyhow. So it was a nice advantage to have it there as well. Didn't change anything for me though. Like I said, I'm pretty comfortable on the saddle. Of course, after 5-6 hours, it starts hurting, but that's pretty normal in my eyes. But on those 1, 2 hour, 3 hour rides, no problem at all, especially because on the indoor rides, you should have more problems than on the outdoor rides, right? Because you'll have only the same wattages, more weight on your saddle on the indoor ride, especially the ones like today I'm doing. But outside, you're changing positions constantly. The terrain is changing constantly. You have to make turns where you put pressure on more on the pedals than on your ass. So you can save up a lot there. So outside, I think I've never had problems. It means if you have a new saddle, maybe in the first couple of days or the first weeks, you start really doing bigger distances, but you just have to fight through that pain, right? And once you get through that, it's good. You're good to go. Ah, that's nice, man. If you struggle with that, that's a trigger point, right? That's something that might even gets you demotivated to get on your bike, knowing that you will get hurt just from sitting on the saddle. So it's such an important thing to fix. And then there's a lot of riders who have lower back problems. That's one of the most common problems for cyclists, I guess. If you look on the second-hand market, I think 80% of the bikes who are sold there are sold by people who have too much back problems. And if you're lucky, you get these like nearly new bikes of people who just did like 2 or 3 rides with them, 100k, expecting to be like in a sofa, and then they are like, oh my god, this is so stiff and this is so hard, I really don't like cycling. And then they sell their 7,000 bike for 4,000 euros, and that's when you pound and steal it. Meanwhile, we have 2 kilometers left to complete this track. Not sure where the finish is, but hey, 2 kilometers and we're done. Then we'll see if we do something else. Hey Matthias, good evening, man. Good evening and welcome. We have a little bit of a boring Zwift session, so we're talking our way through it. These are the days that I really don't like, but at some points you have to do them, right? Yes, man. Yes, man. You like it? Yeah, we have a lot of plants, man. We are very good with them. We are very good with the planterinos. They are very happy to be in our home. I sing it some lullabies sometimes, and to be honest, it has one of the best positions in the house, looking at all the sweat and all the pain here in the pain cave. And this plant has the best light ever. It has direct light. My window is open every time I bike, so it has fresh air. It can let its leaves fly away with it for the time I'm on the bike. It gets good water because it has to be nice and healthy here, because I have to look at it the most time. Amen. And this plant was actually an orphan. We saved it from its death. Like you have the yellow prizes, and then you have like the red prizes. This was a red prize, man. It had to go. We gave it the best place it could go, man. The best place it could go. Happy plant life. I'm ordering some nice picture frames for the wall behind as well. Already have a few pictures in mind. Should be going on 3 at least. But the shop just opened up on Monday again. So the shops are very crowded. And I don't want to get sick because I want to get a frame. So I'm waiting for everybody to chill the fuck out. And then I'll go buy my frame. Because people are going mad, man. If you say to somebody you can't do something, that's all they think about. That's what they want to do the most. So if you say to people for 2 months, you cannot go buy a picture frame, they go mental. They want fucking picture frames. They start hamstering picture frames like they want 40, 50, 70 picture frames. They go camp in a tent outside just to have a picture frame. I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy. I weigh 10 pounds. Alright, man. After this red carpet finish, I think we have the badge. So it's a little bit longer than advertised, but not too much, right? Not too much. So we'll see if we can do something small to add to this. 1 hour on the bike, it's not bad, but it's low spinning, right? We're not tired. I'm getting tired, but not of biking, just of being awake. Man, these spin down rides are so boring. Jesus. I'm glad you guys dropped by just to have a chat, because I would go mad if you weren't here. I would start talking to my plan, for sure. The shortest one I still have to do is in New York, so that's not for today. That's New York as well, a storyline. Then we are doing this one, the Greatest London Flat. Next one is Alvatopia, so we're not going to do that. We have the Greater London Loop, which is 21k. That's another 21k. Are we ready for another 21k? That's the question. Woo! Yeah, boy! Ceramic Speed mission is done. Just before the finish of this track. How perfect. How perfect. So we are officially 23 seconds faster now on most of our bikes. I wonder if you don't complete the mission, will you not get the advantage after it? That's a good question, right? So we finished this mission and we get the kit. But if you don't do the mission and you don't complete it, or you're not on Zwift yet, and you start Zwifting after, or you just Zwift after, whatever, are you actually never gonna be able to get it? And will I always be 23 seconds faster on 100 kilometers? That's something to think about, because if you are Zwifting like years and you always come in like small stuff like this, in the end, it adds up, right? Hey boys, we got it. Okay. Ah. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Are we going for another 21K or not? That is the question. La question du jambon. Let's just do it, right? Let's just do it. Okay. Okay, menu. Let's change the bike to this nice menu and the ride. Okay. Greater London flat. Save. $1,100 sprints. No, we have decided we will do another one, guys. We will do another one, but I have to reboot Zwift to change another track. We have another London track, the Greater London Loop. The Greater London Loop. It's 21K. It has 250 altitude meters, something like that. So I guess about a small hour, maybe extra, 45 minutes. Yeah, this 1 hour didn't give me because we're going slow, right? Don't feel really tired. So London, Greater London Loop. This should be the one. Let's double check. Yeah, this is the one. So an extra 21K. And it has not the box hill, but the smaller climate, I guess. These slow trainings, right? Slow trainings, but yeah. Thanks so much for tuning in already, guys. It's always fun to have a little chat on these rides. We have completed the ceramic challenge camp. I don't know if you saw the finish of last one, but yeah, we are done with the mission. So my worry or my question was, now that I have unlocked the kit, so the kit is on all the bikes, right? And it makes me 23 seconds faster. But after the mission completes, the people who don't have, because it's fitted on every bike now, if you start the mission, it's fitted on your bike. But after the mission, if you don't complete it, will I keep the advantage and the other people will not have it? That's the question. Because, yeah, it's not a big advantage. Like we calculated it to around 7 to 8 seconds on a 33-kilometer race. It's 7-8 seconds, so you get for free. But hey, Ben, but if they do a couple of those ones over the next couple of months, maybe years, at some point you become a monster, right? You get 8 seconds there of that challenge, and then that mission gives you 2 seconds, that mission gives you 7 seconds. At what point does it stop, man? At some point this tram bike will start flying, I think. you'd be like, oh yeah, I'm doing a quick race. I have good legs, and then your Trump bike goes up in the air and it just flies up because of all the 20,000 missions you have completed. It doesn't seem too fair to me. Well, I should understand if you get the kit and you are able to use it, or you get the advantage on just rides like now, doing badges and stuff. But as soon as you enter a race, everybody should be equal, right? Man, I think that should be a cool thing. Talking about teleportation, man, they should make a teleport where you can teleport between worlds. How cool would that be? You go into this tunnel and you come out in the other world. Perfect. You can have inter-world races, man. You can do Innsbruck Ring and then go to Alp Zwift, back to London. Amazing. And for all those crazy people in the world, which a lot of them are on Zwift, free and resting every day or 2 times or 3 times, you can have the biggest ride ever, man. Do everything in Zwift in one ride. It's like a 600-kilometer ride. The Purell Full and the Uber Present combined. How nasty. It's probably pretty heavy for this service to make that work, but it would be so cool. And the options are so limitless. The options are limitless if you create that. Just make a tunnel and make it end up in the other world without ending the game, whatever, bam. That would be awesome. So a little bit of a boring race ride today. In the end, we will have done 50k just spinning, but we have a 140-kilometer pretty heavy ride coming up on Saturday, and I don't want to waste my legs on an extra race. We have done 3 races in 3 days, and we've done pretty well in all of them. So I'm really happy with how training is developing and it's going, and how we're feeling. So I don't want to overdo it and be like racing again today, because if you don't recuperate after that race hard enough on Saturday, we'll get a hard time there. That's why we chose to do a little bit of badge hunting today. 2 laps. We did the Greater London Flat, and now we're doing the Greater London Loop or something. Yeah, 21k. After that, we are done for the day. No big surges, no big powers today, no sprints, no heavy climbs. Well, we will be climbing a little bit on this one, but we're going easy pace. Just get that blood in the legs, get that bad stuff out of the legs, and be fully ready for Saturday. In Zwift? Yeah. Yeah, of course. Are you talking outside? In Zwift? Yeah, man. In real life? Of course. A road bike is always the fastest. and the bigger your tires get, because I think with a trekking bike, your tires will be quite a little bigger than the road bike. So that means you have more surface on the ground. And as far as I've learned, the more surface you have in contact with the ground, the more drag you will have. So yeah, you will be slower. The smaller your tire, the faster you go. It does give you more chances of puncture as well. But yeah. Doesn't have to be all out all the time, right? It's nice to be able to chat once in a while and not being broken on the frame, trying to stick with the front group. It all depends a little bit as well where camp. If you're in a city in Poland where you have 4 or 5 months out of the year where you have snow and you are somebody who rides through that, it might be smarter to buy a mountain bike, for example, as an all-round bike, or a gravel bike with more grippy wheels. But here in Belgium, when it snows maybe 3-4 days in the year, and maybe it freezes like 20 days, whatever, you are better off with a road bike. And you can always go for a little bit of a more width tire, right, on your road bike as well. But your air position will be better, and the bike overall is better. Weight will be better. No, I haven't seen it yet, Cam. I did see your outdoor ride, so I didn't look at the pictures. Man, the Shang Tron bike, we're so happy we had it. I'm still not using that. Still the first week we have it. We've done 2 races with it, and we won both, I think. We did the crit race on this one, and then the stage 3 yesterday, and we won both. So it has been very well for us. The Strom bike has proven its worth. So I told you to camp already, but next week will be a lot of races going on. We have the stage 4 planned. Stage 4 is a climbing race, so it's either the Road to Sky with Up the Zwift, or the second option is Muir and the Mountain, which is the Epicon. So both with a lot of climbing in it. The Alp, of course, a little bit heavier and bigger. But I will be going for Muir and the Mountain, which goes to Thailand Grove and then goes up the Epicon, I guess. I think that's the route. Looking forward to that one. We are getting more familiar with the Epicon. We are getting more familiar with the distance and the climbing meters. And as for timing, effort-wise, so I'm really looking forward to see how we do there and how we pace ourselves at that time. And we will do the Zwift headquarters green cone race again, but this time we'll join the B class. That's right, guys. We'll go for the first time in the B class and probably be dropped the fuck out. But it doesn't matter. We'll do it with a smile. We'll do it with a smile. We just want to try it, and I think if there's ever a race where we want to try it at this stage, I think the crit race and the green cone combined is the best thing we can do to try it, because we are able to stick with better riders on the crit race with our weight and power advantage. We have a good body setup for the crit race, and with the green cones means some of the A riders will be green coned hopefully and out, and if we manage to stick with the front group, hopefully for like 1 to 2 rounds and a few cones drop, we might be able to stick around a little bit longer, and the longer we stick around, hopefully the more easier it gets. We'll see, right? We'll see. Yeah, that's it. It will be a question of how long. Like, I think in the best case, in the best case, it's 12 laps, right? So it's pretty long. But in the best case, we stick with the front group until the last round, and then they will crush us probably, because I will be struggling to hold on the entire ride. And if we manage to do so, they will eat us up alive on that last climb probably, and then start to sprint there. So I think that's the best case, but that would be amazing already if we were able to do that. I'm just worried we'll go with the front, and then after 1 lap in the red, I have to let go of the first group, and I went a little bit too deep, and I have to go from the second group, and then at some point we're riding alone in the wilderness. That's the worst case in my mind, and in my mind that's more plausible than going with the front group to the end. But we never know until we try, and we'll have to try, because there's some B riders in the C ride as well. So who knows? Maybe we will do better than we think. Maybe we are stronger than we think. Last couple of races, we always went with the front group, and our average wattage was 20-25 below what we can do, knowing that we can do. So that means it goes a little bit slower than I can, and that means we have a good sprint, obviously, which we had in both cases. We had a good ending. If you have to go in the red the entire race, you probably won't be there for the sprint anymore, or you won't have anything left for it. But looking at our average from the last couple of races, we do have that extra, and that feels so awesome. That's what we actually have been working for, and hopefully, yeah, if we go to the beach, we'll probably be back in the red the entire time until we break it. Tomorrow, I'm not going to do that tomorrow, I'm going to do that next week. I think Wednesday or Thursday will be good for that, because yeah, Monday we have the stage 4 with the climb, Sunday or Monday, but I think Sunday will still be recovering from a big ride Saturday. So a lot of biking to do next week. No, tomorrow is either a ride like today. If you feel like wanting to ride, we're just gonna do a spin out ride. Just use the legs, but not do anything crazy. But if you don't feel like it, it's no problem, and we do our rest day tomorrow, because we will be on the bike every day of the week next week. So that's no problem if you want to do a rest day. And eat some pasta, get enough water in, and then we'll see for Saturday, right? I'm pretty happy the shops opened up again. So if we want to have a quick break during the ride, we can just stop at the supermarket and get some water there or something. Woo. Some heavy training there, Matthias. Some heavy training. I've done a few of those new workouts. We haven't tried them all yet, but they are pretty heavy. They're short but heavy. But yeah, I'm not really into too much workouts. They're nice to spend the time, but I really enjoy racing more. And I feel like I'm doing a workout in a race as well. It's just an unknown workout. Like you never know if you're gonna do sweet spot training or high interval training or sprint training. It takes you as it goes. You can have everything in one race. But I like to push myself and I like competitiveness. It might be a little bit slower as training wise. Maybe, I don't know. But I rather have as much fun in becoming better than doing those long interval runs. I'm not good at it, man. Like this ride, I'm really glad you guys are here to talk to. I'm really glad. Like not being able to go like over 150, 160 watts max. We're almost halfway kilometer wide though, but we will have the climb starting soon. So we'll have to find a good pace there. Minutes, zone 2, then 8 times 45 seconds, out. Woo! 45 seconds? Damn. Whew. 8 times 45 seconds. All out. Like all out. All out. Not like a little bit over FTP. No, all out. That's basically sprinting 45 seconds. Jesus. I'm guessing that should be around 500 watts for me for 45 seconds. If I would guess, my 1 minute is 525 watts. So let's take it a little bit lower. More than 90%, so that should be just under 400. Okay, but that's not all out then. 190% FTP, right? If you calculate like that, it's big effort, of course. "45 seconds, man." At those times, those 45 seconds, time goes so slow. Those seconds go so slow if you go that big effort. I had 300, okay. Ooh. I have a little bit less, so I have 290 then. So for me that would be like 550. 550 for 45 seconds, 8 times. How much time do you have in between those? You must have like at least 5 minutes in between those, right? No, man, I wouldn't look forward to that one if I was you. 3 minutes 15, that's not long, man. That is not long. After such a big effort? You don't race that much, right, Matthias? I see you do training and workouts a lot. But I almost never see you race. You don't like racing as much, or you really just want to, if you race, be in the best possible shape you can be? I just YOLO that stuff, man. I understand. But I just YOLO that, man. I tried the training plan twice. I quit it twice, around halfway, because of these boring rides as I'm doing today. If you feel like doing a race and your structure is like pushing you in at something you don't want to do, it sucks, man. I don't want to be in that position where I'll be doing things I don't want to do. I'll just boost my FTP by racing. Racing, group rides. It's been a while since we've done a chill group ride though. You can turn a race into a group ride if you get dropped. But lately we have been doing good in the seas. So most of the time we are at the front, so you push yourself. Shit. Yeah, I want to go there too, but it's not ever gonna happen. Maybe in your case it is. You're much closer than me. But I would never want to get there if it means doing 4 months or even longer things I don't really like doing, you know? At that point, I think by racing and just riding, I'm getting better there as well. Well, that's already been proven. If you look at my FTP jumps in under the screen, on the Strava, on the Twitch information bars, you can see the jumps, and we've been gaining, man. We've been gaining. So the next step after my vacation, which is in about 2 weeks, we will be working quite heavily on the weight, and we're making some weight jumps. So I'm not expecting any big wattage jumps. We sure want to break that 300 watt average, right? FTP, that's something we have been looking forward to for a while now. We are really close. My best average for 20 minutes is 299 watts, and my FTP is 290. So we are close, but we're not there yet. We got there on the Bologna trial, but I'm not counting that because we cannot replicate it on a flat road. So we're waiting, but we're close. But I want to keep that wattage and then lose like between 5 and 7 kilos in the next 2 months after my vacation. So that means in 2 weeks time we start, and then I want to lose at least 5k in the first month. So we go to 82 kilograms, and then hopefully go to 80 in the month after that. And that will boost us, should boost us with the current FTP to a better B rider. Because then we will be having a 290 FTP over 80 kilograms, which is, if I think, around 3.6 average. So knowing the B's should be only until 3.8, we should be with the better ones there, I guess, I hope. $210. What? I've hit 202, I think, on Zwift Power. My max is 202, but it was one of the first races I did on Zwift. So I think my max is around 195 something, 97, something like that at this point. If that happens, Makias, that really means you're overtrained, man. You should do some rest days then. If you don't get your heart rate up above 170, you're overtrained. Your body is saying, no. Because the higher your heart rate can go, the more blood you get pumping in your body, so the more oxygen you can get through your lungs. So you need a high heart rate if you want a prestige, man. And if you're going like 30 to 40 heartbeats under your maximum, that's not good training, I guess. I'm averaging my races always in the 170s, I think, if I remember well. Yeah. If it's not happening there, it will never happen. 570 watts for 45 seconds? That's a max effort, okay. That's a max effort. Is there any cadence restrictions on that, or you just can go whatever you want? If I can, I'll be able to drop in, man. I want to see that 6 intervals, or 8 intervals, whatever. Jeez, Luigi. 105 cadence. Shit. Why that cadence though? Why do you have a certain cadence for that effort? Like for me, it would be better to have like 75 to 80, maybe 85. for that power, but higher than that, I'll be working too hard on my heart and less on my muscles. No, my sprints are not on the 120 cadence, man. I don't think so. I have to rewatch my yesterday's sprint. Let's rewatch it. We can rewatch it, right? Let's rewatch it. Shake it, shake it. We'll be back going in a second. I'm breaking this boy. So let's watch the cadence. I want to see my cadence. So here I'm pressing 300 watts and only 66 RPM. I will be like, wonder if we go above 100. So we started. 78. See? My sprint, man, 80 RPM. 84 in the end. '84. RPM on my sprint, man. Grinding? Because I go slow, or is there another reason why it's called grinding? I never heard of the term. Yeah, but you're going so much more aerobic, which is my weakest point. Nah, not that one, man. That was like a solid 40-second average, and you have to know it starts always sooner than the sprint, right? I can understand the sprint itself, like once it gets full blown, that's anaerobic. But the point before that, the build-up, That's a long thing, man, and that works so much on your aerobic skills. And if you're totally like complete blown out of your lungs, you're not gonna do anything anaerobic anymore because there isn't any more air. It's all gone because of the lead-in. Yeah, we've been getting a lot stronger on that. Like you should. We were one of my first races. I was bad, man. Like if they started sprinting before 300 meters, I was already dead. I had to let gaps go all the time. We got a lot stronger, and our recuperation is a lot faster than we used to be. But still, if they're ramping it up like 2-3 minutes before the finish to like above FTP, that's a lot of aerobic work. I've been reading a little bit into the cadence stuff. Well, I've read what I wanted to read, of course, because my friends always have been saying that my cadence is too low. I should train on faster cadence through the entire ride so I could save my legs more. But if you actually look at it, for an amateur like us, I think we all are because we are not contracted pros. It's actually better to have a lower cadence because you have more efficient power to speed for your body. If you go a higher cadence, it means you will burn less sugar and you save your muscle strength for the sprint. But that's only for endurance riders who are doing pro tours of 200 kilometers and still have to sprint in the end to get a podium place. So that's why the pros train on higher cadences so they can save their legs for the finish. But it actually is less inefficient to ride on a higher cadence. It's okay, man, it's okay. We only have 5K to go. I'm not gonna get off the bike to turn on the light. I like it in the dark. I'm a night rider. I think if I hit my max like 1,200, 1,300 watts, I will be like doing over 100 cadence as well. But that's just because I can't go higher as gearing wise. Because once you're in your highest gear, the only thing that can make you even faster or more watts is the cadence, right? So as you saw on the clip, we were doing around 850 watts, between 800 and 850 on a 70 cadence. Like we ended up with 84 or something. But if I want to get that over 1,000, we'll have to get in the high 90s or low 100s. But yeah, that was a little bit too high for the end of the race. And not necessary either because we won. But if I would like do a sprint now, and my goal was to hit 1,200 watts, I'll probably hit the 100 cadence because my highest gear is the highest I can go, right? That's why I like to sprint a little bit more when they're on a slope of 2-3%, because you get more resistance from the trainer. and that means I can get more muscle in there. I'll just wrap myself through there, man. That's the advantage of being a big guy. You can just muscle yourself through it. The big disadvantage comes when you actually have to climb in a race, because there you have to take those extra kilograms for a long time on your back and get them up there. And most of the time that's where you break or you let a group go, which you should be able to stick with if it's flatter. All out effort, man. Cam, all out effort. That's the only way. So either a big ramp up, like you have the ramp test, is a very good one. But yeah, just get warmed up and sprint till you can't no more. Yeah, that's true. That's true. You should ask Matthias that. I'm not sure. I would say like 5 to 10 minutes is more than enough, but that's me. I sometimes start races without warm up, so I'm not really the guy you should ask to talk about warm up. The only thing I can say then that I've learned is if you do start a race without warm up, your body gets into emergency mode. So if you start a race on Zwift, it's always high pace, right? So if you start without warm up on a high pace race, your body will say, what the fuck is going on? And it will pump your heart rate to the max really quickly, which is not that good because you will peak in the start of the race and you will probably get too tired. So if you warm up on a higher cadence and get your heart rate up before the race, once you get to the race, your heart will be used to the power, and it will be able to work on a lower heart rate than, and you won't peak that much. So that's a big advantage of a warm-up, and you won't be like breathing like a horse. Well, I will be still, but somebody else who's a bit better trained will have a much better time on a higher cadence and a higher wattage. That's what I've learned. So on important races, or if I have the time, I try to warm up. I started learning that, but sometimes it just doesn't work right. Yeah, true that, but just perfect example, man. Perfect example. So if it's like a long race and you know they're not gonna start really heavy, the warm-up is less important because you will get it during riding. But most of the time, I think 99% of the Zwift races start really fast, so warm-up is really, really important for Zwift. And it doesn't really matter the length of the warm-up. You don't want to be warming up for 2 hours, I guess. But I think the most important is that you peak once or twice on a good effort, get that heart rate close to your maximum, and then just cool down again and relax. and we forget to drink. Especially fill this bottle. It's the first time I think we'll drink in almost 2 hours. Hey. Quick little bump here, and then we have a little bit of downhill coming. And I think then we have the little ramp in the tram station, and that should be the track. I'm glad we did this one. I'm glad we added this one as well. Means we have 50k in total today on a really, really gentle pace. Yeah, in my case, most of my warm-ups are around half an hour. Like either if it's for a quad race or something longer, I try to make it that I'm on the bike 30 minutes before, and I just do something like I am doing today, 150 watts, and then if you hit a little climb, or if it's a flat route, you just ramp it up for a couple of minutes, just above FTP for like 1-2 minutes, get that heart rate up, and then chill back again. Man, if I was thinking about it before, like I knew why it was, somebody explained me why warm-up was like necessary, I would always think it's like wasted energy, right? Because you're wasting the energy in your legs, you're wasting energy on the bike without it even mattering. So I was always like, yeah, I'm gonna start as fresh as possible, and yeah, that was my logic, man. And it still sounds logic if you think about it, but then smarter people try to explain it, and then yeah, I think that's right, and then you try it, and then it kind of works. It kind of works. Like I said, I would keep like zone 1 and 2 a lot, and then ramp it up for like a couple of minutes to hit a nice heart rate. So FTP is zone 3, right? Zone 3 between 3 and 4. Yeah. And just make sure you have enough time to recuperate before the race start, right? That your zone 4 doesn't finish 30 seconds before you go to the starting pen and start the race. Yeah, but like I said, it's probably a good time, but for me that will be too long in the higher zones. I don't need 4 minutes at FTP to get my heart rate up. So most of the time I do it with the climbs. I pick a route which is short and has some climbs in it. For example, on Yorkshire, the cobbled climbs, for example, or yeah, there's so many other examples. Titan's Grove is one of them, which has some climbs in it. And then most of the time when it goes up, I go up. And when it goes down or it's flat, I go flat. That's more of my natural warm-up thing. So I'm not really busy with the numbers or the time. Like for example, if I was riding here and then I see this climb coming up, this is where I go high cadence or high wattage, right? Just push up this like 800 watts, and then my heart rate will be jumping on the top, and maybe hold it up for like another 10 seconds, and then I'll just cool down again. And then in around 2 kilometers, where the finish of this track is, there's a little climb as well. It just goes up like 3%, but it's perfect to ramp it up again. Yeah, and then just cool it down. And then depending on how big the race is, I go to the starting pen nice and early if it's a big race, like plus 100 people. You want to make sure you go before the last 5 minutes, because I just give you an example. If it's 300 people and entering the race, and you go join the race 4 minutes before race start, there'll probably be 200 people before you, which you all have to pass in the start for nothing, right? Because if you joined 2 or 3 minutes earlier than that, you have like skipped maybe 70-80 positions, and that's like 2 or 3, 4 seconds at 500-600 watts that you save just by joining a couple of minutes earlier. It's nice, man, it's nice. Like I said, it's glad you guys are here. I'm learning from Matthias, and I'm learning with you. I'm like an octopus. I know a little bit of everything, but I'm not specialized in anything neither. So there's always people like Matthias who know more of training than I do. So I can explain a little bit about warm-up, but as you can see, Matthias is going more into depth about it, and there's more of the statistics going on. I'm just going with it, man. I go with the flow. I know warm-up is needed. I'll warm up as I feel warmed up. I go. That's it. Yeah, that's true. You can also do warm up there, but then, especially if you're not level 50 yet, you want to feel like you're moving. You want to have the distance feeling. It's so much more nicer to ride in the real world, in the real Zwift world, than just be in the starting front doing your wattages and for a certain time, right? That's the thing. What I mean is I like to have as much fun as possible doing training and doing working and doing the road to getting better. I don't want to do a lot of stuff. Sometimes you have to do rides like these sometimes, but that I want that to be like the minority of the time that I spend on Zwift. I want 99% of my time on Zwift to be having fun, battling in races, trying to get achievements, better times. Oh, you did? Nice. I think we will be finishing once we go under this boat. I've done a nice ride, guys. Thanks for joining me on this one. 50K of easy riding, but we managed to do it. We got 2 badges in the back. There we go. Now, I have to be honest, Matthias, I will never get used to being to boring stuff that I don't like. I don't want to get used to it. If I don't enjoy myself, I don't want to get used to it. I know it's a warm up is good, but I'm never gonna warm up for 1 hour because I have to. I'll just do what I want to do. See you later, Matches. Thanks for dropping in, man. And at the end, it probably will make our road a little bit longer, or the finish maybe not as high as it can be if I'm not training the perfect way. But then again, there is never a perfect way, right? That's a nice emote as well, man. I like it. All right, we're gonna finish this up. We're gonna hit the shower and have a beer. We'll have a beer. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. And the next ride will probably be Sunday or Monday. Um, Depending on the strength, I have Jupiler, which is a good normal beer just to have a chilly night. Or I have the Cherry Chouf, is a La Chouf beer, very very good. It's 8.5%, so that's a little bit more of a tasty. Depending on how I feel when I get downstairs after the shower, we'll have a pick of the choices and we'll enjoy that on the cool down. We'll enjoy that. No 0% here, man. No 0% here. We have 2 hours of running in the legs. We deserve a good beer. I'm not sure if I think don't think there's a battery big enough to get a Twitch stream going for 6 hours on the bike outdoors. So I don't think it's possible to take you guys with us on the outdoor ride on Saturday. But tomorrow probably will be a rest day. If not, it's a short spin down. So I might not even stream it then. And then Saturday the outdoor ride, Sunday either a recovery ride or an off day, and then Monday we're back for stage 4. So stage 4 is certain on Monday. That's the first certainty I have to share. God damn it, you're a fish, Campy. You're a fish. Go get some zero alcohol beer, man. Or with alcohol. I know Poland has good ones, so you have to go get some. You have to go get some. Or maybe nice soda or something else with some nice taste in it. Even like take a lemon, man. Take a lemon and put it in the water. Some ice blocks, and it's like you're having a cocktail. Like put a little umbrella in it, and you're on vacation. All right, guys. Thanks for joining so much. It was a boring ride, but it was a nice and entertaining with you guys in the chat. So I'm looking forward on our next races next week. And yeah, wish me luck on Saturday. And I hope to see you guys on the other streams next couple of days. Thank you so much for tuning in. And thanks for dropping by.